These and more in a moment. Very good morning to you and welcome to AKBC 45 News at dawn. I am Blessing Isongu. Forum of Chapter Chairmen and stakeholders of the All Progressive Congress APC in Akwa Ibom State has congratulated Mr. Udom Emmanuel on his victory at the poll on April 11. Addressing a news conference in Uyo yesterday, the APC chapter chairman from the 31 local government areas said although the people have spoken, they consider it morally right to identify with Mr. Udom Emmanuel. The forum statement read on behalf of the APC chairman, the APC by chairman of chairmen, Mr. Wemedi Mo Ikamenyan, said Mr. Udom Emmanuel's victory commands their respect, describing the victory as hard fought. They said the elections were substantially free, fair, and a reflection of the will of the people, despite few hitches. They said as grassroots leaders who participated in the elections at the unit level, they have confirmed the elections to be largely credible and the outcome being a reflection of the opinion of majority of voters from the local government areas. The APC chapter chairman urged all political parties and politicians to accept the will of the people instead of embarking on what they termed unnecessary litigations. The forum also urged APC supporters and faithful to remain peaceful and supportive of the incoming federal and state government in order to attract more development to the state. While congratulating the President-elect General Muhammadu Buhari on his victory and President Goodluck Jonathan for gallantly accepting defeat, the APC Forum of Chapter Chairmen and stakeholders urged politicians to play politics without bitterness.
Happy that the election, despite few hitches, were substantially free and fair, and a reflection of the will of the people. We can categorically confirm that elections were largely credible and the outcome reflects the opinion of the majority of the populace in our respective local government areas.
Fielding questions from newsmen on behalf of the group, Mr. Udemo Odofia debunked insinuations that they are paid to congratulate Mr. Udom Emmanuel, pointing out that the law for Akwa Ibom State and the need to allow peace to reign overrides every other interest. He said from the standpoint of active participants, they can attest to the fact that election materials used at the various units were genuine, and from the Independent National Electoral Commission.
We supported APC to the best of our ability. But because we don't go into politics of a do or die, we lost in the election. So in the spirit of this partnership, we have to congratulate the candidate that won the election. People for the peaceful conduct of the election, and Udom Emmanuel in particular.
Oath administration on newly sworn-in chairmen of customary courts and members, as well as inauguration of newly built magistrates and high courts by the state government were some of the activities to herald the retirement ceremonies of the state chief judge, Justice Idonison Temiswa. The swearing-in ceremony was performed by the chief judge, who was later accompanied by judges, magistrates and other judicial staff for the inauguration. Questions John filed this report.
Seated in the Judiciary Multipurpose Hall, the 94 appointed chairmen of customary courts across the state and members waited patiently for the swearing-in ceremony. They will later administer the oath of allegiance and the judiciary oath by the state chief judge, Justice Idonison Temiswa, where they promise to discharge their duties honestly and in accordance with the law.
I will discharge my duties and perform my functions honestly.
The State Chief Judge, Justice Idomesin Temiswa, said that customary courts under a wash have been upgraded by appointing lawyers to head the courts, while noting that the gesture has equally reduced unemployment among lawyers. She thanked the state government for the appointment and advised those appointed to abide by the oath they have taken and ensure that justice is dispensed to all. Justice Iswa hinted that they are to serve between now and the year 2017.
I want to thank His Excellency the Governor of Akwa State, Chief Justice Okorafa CON, for agreeing to elevate the district court system by having lawyers as chairmen. We are also expanding the scope of employment for lawyers.
The Executive Secretary of the State Judiciary Service Commission, Mr. Imoy Eneusanga, congratulated the appointees and admonished them to improve upon the upgraded district courts by discharging their responsibilities effectively. Barrister Sendia, who spoke on behalf of the appointed chairman, appreciated the state government and the state judiciary for engaging them at that level and promised to justify the confidence reposed in them.
This magnanimous act has condensed both the official bar and the private bar, and we say thank you.
The State Chief Judge later inaugurated some newly constructed high and magistrate courts by the state government. They include Chief Magistrate Court, where she and her entourage were received by the village head of Ntiaritam, Etirumbasi, Ekanem. The Chief Judge also inaugurated a new High Court in Okoita, Ibionibom local government area, where she explained that the High Courts also have an attached family court to it, where family matters involving husbands and wives and children are resolved.
In the name of God the Father, Jesus Christ the Son, and in the power of the Holy Spirit.
The team also inaugurated a new high court in Okanuwa West in Esianodem local government and a judiciary refreshment center in Etinan.
Akwa Ibom State University is to graduate its first batch of 42 students at its first convocation ceremony slated for Saturday this week. The 42 students from the Faculty of Natural and Applied Sciences are part of the first batch of 300 students admitted into the institution in the 2010-2011 academic session. The Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Enoy Banga, disclosed this at a news conference at the main campus of the university, Ikoda Baden and local government area. Tom Monday reports.
The 258 remaining students of the first batch of students admitted into the university are pursuing engineering courses which have a 5-year study period. Professor Enoibanga said the breakdown of the 42 graduating students shows that 2 made first class, 18 second class upper, 19 had second class lower, while 3 had third class. He said all the courses in the Faculty of Natural and Applied Sciences earned full accreditation from the National Universities Commission, while serious efforts are being made to obtain full accreditation for engineering courses to enable the students to graduate in the next 1 year. The engineering courses, he however said, have been granted approval by the Council of Registered Engineers in Nigeria, COREN. Approval, he also said, have been granted by the NUC to run courses in the faculties of arts, education, as well as social and management sciences at the Obiokwa campus of the university.
In May 2015, the university sent to graduate its first 42 students from the Faculty of Natural and Applied Sciences, who have been found worthy in character and learning in our maiden convocation. While the other students are in the faculties of engineering and agriculture, which is 5 years program. So some of them are still around.
Since its inception, the university, he said, has enjoyed tremendous support from the state government, individuals and corporate organizations. Now with more than 3,000 students, who are exposed to theoretical and practical sessions of their studies. The university an array of quality academics who, in line with NUC directive, are holders of doctorate degrees, while those with master's degrees have opportunities to avail themselves of staff development programs of the institution. 24 out of the 50 indigenes of the state sent abroad to further their studies by the state government, he disclosed, have acquired their PhDs and are back to teach, while 22 other staff are undergoing training abroad under the State Fund Academic Training Program. On infrastructural development, the Vice Chancellor said the state government has built classroom blocks, workshops, and laboratories to facilitate research, while department blocks, ICT centers are under construction at both campuses. He thanked Governor Godswill Akpabio for his support to the university, but appealed for more support to enable the university achieve its aim.
Akwa State University provides wholesome training for our students. We are certain that our graduates will excel tremendously wherever they find themselves.
Newsmen will later conduct around some buildings constructed at the university. Tam Monday report.
Our roads will on Thursday lead to the Onyema Ugochukwu Auditorium of the University of Uyo, where a renowned professor of communication arts, Desmond Wilson, will present the 44th inaugural lecture of that university. Professor Des Wilson, an expert in trado-modern communication, will lecture on the topic Ethno-communicology, trado-modern communication and media morphosis in Nigeria, and iconoclast demystification of some communication traditions. To this end, the Registrar of the University of Uyo, Mrs. Eda Kumonda, has invited intellectuals, the academic community, and members of the public to the inaugural lecture, which begins at 2:30 in the afternoon. Professor Des Wilson, a thoroughbred of the University of Ibadan, is an author of many books, a contributor to international journals, and a leading intellectual. President-elect General Muhammadu Buhari has stressed the need for the nation's media to fully support the new government that will be sworn in on May 29 to enable Nigerians to witness the much talked about change. The President-elect, who was represented by the Vice President-elect Professor Yemi Osibajo, was addressing the opening event of the 2015 Biennial Convention of the Nigerian Guild of Editors NGE at the Lagos Airport Hotel, Ikeja. General Buhari argued that now that the elections have been concluded, the media should not shirk its responsibility of being the society's watchdog by ensuring that government activities were correctly presented to the people. While reaffirming his administration's commitment to building a country every Nigerian would be proud of, the president-elect, however, believes that such lofty plan would be unattainable without the support of the media. In her remark, the chairperson of the event, Mrs. Dupe Ajayi Badibo, reasons that for any democracy to thrive, it is imperative for the society to have a vibrant media. She expressed regret that a large number of practitioners were responsible for overheating the polity in their coverage and reportage of the recently concluded elections. Giving the scorecard of his administration in the last 2 years, the president noted that since assuming office in 2013, his administration had been able to live up to his promise of watching over the interest of members by embarking on programs that would enhance their welfare. One of such programs, Adesina explained, was his capacity development programs designed to train editors in collaboration with the School of Media and Communication of the Pan-Atlantic University in Lagos, as well as in other training institutions abroad. He said that his administration has been able to grow the NGE's revenue base to more than 200 million naira, ability to build a befitting secretariat for the guild in Abuja. Meanwhile, Mr. Femi Adesina, who is also the managing director and editor-in-chief of the Sun newspaper, has been re-elected as president of the Nigerian Guild of Editors. With the re-election, Mr. Adesina, who was first elected in Ibadan in 2013, will continue to lead the guild for the next 2 years. 16 other officers were elected, including Akwa Ibom-born Victoria Ibanga, who becomes the General Secretary of the Guild. Members of the Nigerian Guild of Editors who attended the convention from Akwa Ibom State were Chris Nkang, Chris Ikpoto, Comfort Umana of the AKBC, Marvelous Friday, Great Edem, and Obiota Kanem of the Pioneer newspaper, as well as Ikbong Serudom of the Ministry of Information. With the election concluded, the stage is set for this year's annual Nigerian Editors Conference later in the year at a venue to be announced later. We take a break at this point. When we return, more news for you. Please stay with us.
This is a public service announcement. The government of Akwa Ibom State wishes to bring to the notice of visitors and residents of the state steps to take in preventing the incidence or spread of the deadly Ebola virus disease in Akwa Ibom State. The Ebola virus can be contacted through any of the following ways: contact with the body fluids of those who are visibly sick from the disease, contact with the corpse of somebody who died from the disease, contact with an animal that is carrying the virus, especially fruit bats and monkeys. Symptoms of this deadly disease include sudden high fever, persistent headache, diarrhea, vomiting, general weakness, joint and muscle ache, sore throat, chest pain, internal and external bleeding. To prevent this disease, wash your hands regularly with soap and water. Keep your environment clean and properly fumigate your surroundings if you have pests around. Report any suspicious symptoms in yourself or anyone to the nearest health facility immediately you notice them. Medical personnel should use personal protective equipment when handling suspected cases and corpses. Be careful when handling dead bushmeat. Spread the message. Tell your neighbors, colleagues, domestic staff, family members and friends. Akwa Ibom is safer when everyone is educated about Ebola. For more information, call the helplines 0812-769-8984, 0812-769-8959, 0812-769-8949. Ebola kills fast. Spread this message faster. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Information and Communications, Akwa Ibom State.
Good to have you back as the news continues. Public relations practitioners have been told to uphold the tenets of the profession and abide by the rules governing them. The head of civil service, Mrs. Cecilia Odoisin, gave the charge while flagging of the South-South Study Center of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations in the state. The ceremony was preceded by the 2015 annual general meeting of the body, as well as the second memorial lecture of its pioneer chapter chairman, Chief O.W. Udo. Paul has more.
Who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, Pastor Prezo Kon, said public relations practitioners are saddled with the responsibility of building favorable image, hence the expectation to live up to that. Mrs. Udoisin, however, commended the state chapter of the NIPR for the study center, which she noted will be of immense advantage to the South-South people, but warned against unethical behavior in the operations of the center. The head of civil service also mentioned that the theme of the memorial lecture, Managing Reputation in National Crisis, is very timely, especially in the face of national political evolution, which spikes crisis in the country. She lauded the NIPR for gearing towards efforts at contributing to the training of personnel to qualify for the award of certificates and diplomas in public relations.
Public relations is basically communicating with the public and relating with them with utmost courtesy, respect, honesty, and professionalism.
The national president of NIPR, Dr. Rotimi Oladele, also lauded the state chapter of NIPR for the completion of the study center. Dr. Oladele said the lecture is a refresher course for members and reminded them to always remember the code of ethics of the profession.
I found this wonderful building somehow very, very unutilized. And for me, in some developing countries, this is enough to be a polytechnic, if not a polytechnic.
The state chairman of the NIPR, Mrs. Elsie Udofia, said the choice of the theme of the second memorial lecture of the late pioneer chairman, Chief O.W. Udo, is because the country is plagued with crises of terrorist groups and that any discussion will prefer ideas that can assist in this regard.
You will get to know more about Chief O.W. Udo, a great man, a man who served as press secretary to a number of military administrators. And we thought as an institute we should honor him by instituting this memorial lecture.
The lecturers at the event, Dr. Andy Iheme and Professor Des Wilson, spoke on the theme and sub-theme of the program, Managing Reputation in National Crisis, and the emerging challenges in crisis management, the public relations perspective. The eulogy of the pioneer chapter chairman of NIPR in the state, Chief O.W. Udo, which was read by Elder Namsu Morin, indicated that the late icon was a courageous journalist, leader and fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, who passed on to glory in 2010.
You showed unstoppable spark of brilliance that saw you to start Wales in the United Kingdom.
President Goodluck Jonathan has ordered a public release of the forensic audit of the $20 billion NNPC account. An African-American woman has been sworn in as the 83rd United States Attorney General. These and more forms Channel 45 national and foreign news segments with Mercy Ekara.
Goodluck Jonathan has ordered the release of the report of the forensic audit of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation NNPC accounts, which was before now kept from public glare for reasons best known to the presidency. This is according to a statement by the President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Dr. Ruben Abati, who expressed President Jonathan's deep concern by some suggestions that administration has anything to hide and that the $20 billion is unaccounted for by NNPC during his tenure.
The incoming administration will be perfectly within its rights to review all actions of the present government as it may deem fit. We see nothing wrong with that. After all, the present administration reviewed the actions of previous governments on assumption of office will result in benefits for policy and project implementation.
The Nigerian Senate has the sum of 4.493 trillion naira budget for the 20th fiscal year. The budget pass comes with an increment of 135.4 billion naira, about the executive arm of the government had earlier submitted to the National Assembly for approval. The Senate confirmed the non-inclusion of fuel subsidy provision in the document. The document contained 20 naira for the funding of the subsidy reinvestment and employment shop. The budget will be driven by $53 oil benchmark, an exchange rate of 190 naira to $1, 2.2782 million crude oil production, and deficit gross domestic of 1.2%. And on the foreign scene, the United States President Barack Obama has received Japan Minister Shinzo Abe at the White House. The purpose of the official visit was to highlight the reconciliation between the two nations who were once at war and to showcase the alliance that both countries have built over time.
Governor Godswill Akpabio, his wife Onoma, and some members of the State Executive Council were among the dignitaries that attended the funeral of the late Chief Thomas Nwoko, father of the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Barrister Uwemedi Nwoko. The event took place last weekend at Ibiakane, Ika local government area. The story is presented in our studio.
Described the deceased as a wisdom will be missed by many. The governor noted that the late Pa Nwoko was a community leader whose contributions impacted on his people.
The transition of this great patriarch of their family and a community leader has left us with a deep sense of deprivation. By his death, the Nwoko's family, Abiakanika village, and the entire Akwa Ibom state have lost a father whose profound experience and wise counsel would have continued to serve as fountain of knowledge and inspiration for many.
Speaking, the governor's wife, Ekaitu Noma, paying tribute to the late Chief Nwoko, maintaining that he has finished his course and had gone to rest with his creator. She described Pa Nwoko as a rare gem light in training his children for the improvement of the society. Mrs. Akpabio advised the bereaved family to rejoice and celebrate his legacies evident in his children. The governor's wife also used the occasion to appreciate the women of Ika for their support over the years, as well as turning out en masse to vote PDP candidates in the just concluded elections.
He was a strong man, and I'm sure that God has taken his soul. That is the most important thing. Just like the pastor said, it is not how long, but how well, and what will you be remembered for?
Also speaking, the governor-elect, Mr. Udomi Manuel, urged the family of Pa Nwoko to take solace in the legacies their father left behind. He described Barrister Uwemedi Nwoko as a worthy child and thanked the people for their support which saw him through the April election as governor-elect. Mr. Emmanuel promised to reciprocate the love Ika people showed him.
The Bible says death is an appointment. It is appointed unto man wants to die after that judgment. So it doesn't actually matter. It is an appointment everybody must keep. But what time is your appointment will differ from one person to another. I want to use this opportunity to thank the entire Ika people for the support they gave to us.
In his sermon, the officiating minister, Pastor Ibanga Uroinyang of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, admonished everyone to live exemplary lifestyle, since death is a date with all mortals. The late Chief Thomas Johnson Nwoko was a retired court bailiff who died at the age of 86.
Do remember that you can also watch AKBC TV News online by logging on to akbconline.org or follow us on Twitter at AKBC45. You on Facebook at AKBC Channel 45. That's our package for this morning. But before we go, another look at the top stories. Justice Idonwe Sentaniswa has sworn in chairman and members of customary court in Akwa Ibom as part of activities marking her retirement from service. She also inaugurated magistrate and high court buildings built by the state government in some parts of the state. First batch of 42 students of Akwa Ibom State University ready for convocation this weekend. We also brought you a report that the first African-American woman, Loretta Lynch, has taken oath of office as the 83rd Attorney General of the United States of America. That was the news. Thanks for watching and do have a blessed day ahead. Good morning.
Of entertainment, incisive news, captivating and illuminating programs, the latest in politics, in-depth analysis of events, sports, and much more. Keep watching.